What's up, guys? Chris Minnis here. We're going to be doing an Instagram Live with Ryan Milton from Flex Training. He's going to be joining us real soon. Hello, Carrie. How you doing? Chloe's joined us, of course, and there's Team Flex. Ryan, jump on in anytime you feel like it. Make sure you got your hair done and your makeup looks good, because you're going to be a lot of people watching. There we go. Should be coming in soon. So while we wait for, oh, there he is.
What
hey,
up,
man? Oh man, your hair looks as good as I hoped it would.
You didn't give me enough time to put my makeup on, but I'm ready, bro.
Let's adjust this. Oh, there we go. So you don't want to be looking right up my nose, you know.
Well, shit. Either way.
How you doing, man?
Good, man. You know, what day is it? Today? It's Tuesday. I thought it was Monday for a second.
And they'll blend together sometimes. Let me give it a little more volume here. Where you live these days?
All over the place, man.
Good. Good.
I'm wherever the shows are, brother. That's where I'm
right.
at.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
That's right, man. How you doing?
Good. You know, we're busy. We're gearing up for a big year. You know, we're in that like in between COVID time. Some people think that COVID's over, but and things are getting better in a lot of places. But we're kind of like in that part, you know, where they put like strip clubs, brothels, nightclubs, and then there's events. So we're in like that basket of people, unfortunately. And while, you know, for some people, like normal life has returned, for us it's still quite a challenge. And you know, for example, we learned a lot last year. We learned, you know, as event planners, we like to get things done months or even a year out, you know, and it's hard for us to kind of wait till the last minute to do things. But with COVID, we've learned that this is what we have to do. You know, for example, the Legion, it changed locations 5 times last year. We're like, all right, we lost this, let's do the next one. Okay, we lost that, you know. And so this time we're just kind of like holding tight while we wait till we're a little closer to the shows before we announce, you know, locations and venues and stuff. You know, the Motherload is 12 weeks out. You know, we were able to say, hey, it's definitely happening May 15th. It's definitely happening in Reno. Yeah. But we have a few venues on hold. And and so that we can really like consider what's going to be the best for the athletes. And there's so many variables. You know, is it a theater has a completely different set of restrictions than a convention room? And this is an interesting one. I was looking at this one theater, and it's a 1,500 seat theater, and said, okay, well when we're at 250 or even 50%, cool, we get 750, right? No, because it's 250 or 50% with social distancing. So you still have to keep people 6 feet apart. And when you're a fixed seat theater, this one particular theater I'm looking at goes from 150 to 1,500 to 164. Huge. You know, that's down to 10%, because you got to be 6 feet from an aisle, and you have to skip every other row, and you have to be 25 feet from the stage, and there's all these things. So, you know, basically we're working really hard to make sure we end up with the best scenario for everyone, especially in these first few shows of the year.
Yeah, and I see you got your Motherload stash going here, bro. So you're growing it. I mean, you've been growing that since last year or what?
I have, yes. I mean, you know, the Motherload, it had become, I hate to have a favorite, but it had become one of my favorites. That opening performance was just gets you so riled up. When I look at the picture and you see the athletes all around, and they've just got this look on their face like, yeah, you know? And last year we planned you know, a live string quartet. We had brought, you know, we're going to bring out Cedric McMillan, and
Yeah.
we had all these like performances. This was going to be a show, you know, not a bodybuilding competition, but a bodybuilding show. And you know, obviously we didn't get to do that. I thought we were going to get to do it this year, and really we're not going to be able to do it at that scale quite yet, because you can't, I mean, there's 200 people on stage. You're not even allowed to have 200 people in one room, you know, so you can't do that like we want to quite yet. So this year it's going to be this kind of in between, you know, we're going to probably have like a men's prejudging and a women's prejudging, and a men's finals and a women's finals, and we'll have some kind of performances. And of course we like to give away you know, we give away the free registration to our pro qualifiers in Russia, so that'll still be a part of it. But little by little, you know, like, you know, we say we're first in class, and we'll still always have a first in class event, even if it's not exactly what we originally envisioned, you know. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
She's digging cash. I like those kind of comments. Thanks, Juan.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed about you guys' shows, you know, for the years that we've been going to these things, is that, you know, you always get it done, man. And you do it at a level that, you know, it's not the same experience everywhere where you compete. Stages are all different, but Center Podium show is pretty damn consistent, right? And even last year, you know, I didn't make it to a lot of shows last year. You know, obviously we sponsor a lot of events and we're at a lot of places normally, but last year, your events were the only ones I really got to, man, because, you know, I just knew I had to be there. You know, deep down inside, I was like, you know what? I can't miss this. I can't miss out again. So I'm going to go. And, you know, you got it done, man. So for anybody listening that's competing this year, you know, I think it's important to remember that these shows can still go on. Chris was saying it all last year. I mean, I saw how many lives of him. The first thing he'd open up with every time is like, the show must go on. It's going to go on. We're doing it. And, you know, you pulled off all your shows last year, right? And that's a big thing. That's huge. And so people out here are competing, you know, wanting to get ready for a show, get ready to do stuff. It's the time. It's the time to, you know, click in and say, all right, it's time to get on stage. I'm not going to wait. I know a lot of competitors last year, they kind of held off, right? They held off competing. They said, you know what, amid everything going on, I'm going to just take the year, and that's fine. But 2021 is your year, because if you keep waiting, you know, you might not be on stage for a while if you're waiting for, you know, things to change, things to be different. So get on stage while you can, because it's still important. And, you know, that's one kind of tip that I wanted to talk about today for competitors out here is how many shows, you know, a year or so, or your season should you be doing? And this is a question people ask me all the time, and I'm sure you can chime in, but what do we got here?
I got Wani just saying great to see you, so I was just saying what's up.
Oh yeah, no, I'm seeing the whole thing go too. Yeah, you should do as many shows as you can do. Okay, competitors out here, anybody watching, first show, you know, you've already done 10 shows before, you're a pro. Do as many shows as you can do in 2021. And the reason is more experience, more time in front of the judges, you know, more ability to, if you're doing your first show, maybe you do a couple and you place, you know, better at some of the other ones later, or you're trying to qualify for nationals. Get yourself on stage as many times as you can, because you're not going to have, you know, any better experience than actually getting in front of the judges. I know as competitors, we all think that, you know, you sit at home and you can pose in the mirror and you're doing your routine and it's just as good as getting on stage. But in reality, the experience that you gain on stage can only be gained on a stage. You have to get on stage. And so I think it's, you know, hugely important. And I'm glad to see, obviously, Center Podium. You guys got your event coming like 12 weeks out right now, right?
Yep, 12 weeks. And to add to kind of enforce what you're saying, I remember on my first show, I actually looked really good. I came in the way I wanted to look. I made my weight. I was peeled. But it was my first time on stage. And I look at the pictures and I look at like, fuck, my posing trunks. I like cringed and I was wearing my posing trunks like I wear my pants, like a little too low back then, you know? And it looked like, oh, come on, why'd you have to do that? You know, like, and then, you know, I was like, I hit this one pose and I like held my hands. Oh, I was doing this for my side try.
Yeah.
Instead of that. And every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, it looks so weird. You know, just like the way it looked, it was like, I looked so feminine. And you know, it's like you could do this stuff all the time, and it just, you look at the stage and you look at the photos, and like you can always find something better. And you know, Boyana, you know, so maybe you know Boyana, Ifbb Pro. She got second to Arnold in figure last year. She's done 80 shows as an amateur, 50 shows as a pro, and that or more. And still, every show you look at the pictures and you still find a way to improve. Can you imagine 130 shows and you go, you know what? The suit can be a little higher. You know what? You can change the shape for the suit. You can do the hair. You bring this in, you bring that up. You can change. There's so many things, and the only way to know is to get on stage. And in addition to that, it's like the judges are so cool where they'll hang out now afterwards. You know, even like you saw Tyler Mannion after the Legion, like hanging out afterwards to give people feedback. And you're not going to get better feedback from anybody else on earth than the guy who runs the federation, right?
Right.
And you know, you can have like, I don't care if your coach is me or you, like, no, you want Tyler's feedback. And you know, it can be Sandy will do it. I know you do a lot of stuff with Sandy, as do I. And then you know, Billy after the Russia show was so cool, just chilling with everybody, and he's posing people. So I think one thing that's really happened over the years is this evolution where judging has become almost more customer or athlete centric, and it's giving that feedback. So you know, the more time you do it, the more feedback you get from judges, the more time you can spend looking at the photos, the video, and you're going to do better each time.
Yeah, and that's crazy that you just said, you know, how many shows Born has done. That's nuts, man. And I think that's lost in social media, right, a lot, is with people assuming that, you know, the pros they did one amateur show, then they did nationals, they got a pro card, then they're doing pro shows, and now they're top pros. No. There's so many shows and so much experience that happens for anybody that you could look at and be like, that's a successful competitor. There's so many shows, so much time, so many times they sat there and spoke with the judges, so many tweets were made by coaches, so many things. And so that's why I think it's, you know, hugely important. Just do as many shows as you can do, and you know, it's going to be better and better and better, you know, every time to build you as a competitor. And with that comes now, you know, for new competitors especially, how do you know what division's the right division for you, right? And this really comes down to doing a lot of crossover, you know, at events and things like that. And obviously, you know, you guys have the ability for people to do crossovers. For anyone that doesn't know what a crossover is, it's basically where you can do multiple divisions at a show, right? So that's really an important thing. You know, what do you think about that, Chris?
Yeah, so you have the option to do multiple divisions and multiple classes. And I'll start with the divisions first. You know, a lot of people ask me, you know, am I bikini or am I wellness? Am I bikini or am I figure? Or, you know, classic or men's physique? And sometimes, you know, you can do really well in both. We've seen people turn pro at the same show in two different divisions. You change your suit, you change your posing, and you look the best in each division. Now, ideally that doesn't happen, but sometimes what the scenario is nobody showed up in proper shape. You know, so how can a figure girl win women's physique? Because none of the other women's physique girls were in shape. Right. And so this is a good way to go back to the judges again and say, where did I look better? Which avenue should I pursue? Now, and the other big part of it, and this is where you do multiple classes, is you get more bang for your buck. As you said, more experience on stage. So you get more experience on stage by doing multiple shows, but you get more experience by doing multiple classes too. I guarantee you can walk out and if you do women's bikini 45 and up, you walk out, you do your thing, you get off stage like, crap, I should have done X. All right, cool. Good thing I'm in Masters 35 and up. Go do X. Or I'm an open. Good. And then that's your chance to literally improve throughout the show. And also, hey, who doesn't love collecting some medals? You know, to go home and have 5 medals around your neck and maybe an overall, maybe 2 overalls, who knows? You know, you got the most bang out of your buck. And when I say the bang out of your buck, I mean, you dieted for 12 or 16 or 20 weeks. Like, let's get the maximum amount of stage time. Let's get the maximum amount of experience and the maximum amount of feedback from judges. It's all upside.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, at the end of the day, I'm always putting competitors, when I put them in a show, I say, do as many of these that you can do as far as classes go. Like, literally, if you can do novice, you can do open, you can do true novice, you can, you know, for a first timer, you can do a bunch more than some of the other people even, but always do as many classes as you can do, because it's just more and more repetition, more and more experience. And then, you know, at the end of the day, you do go away with a good neck workout if you got a bunch of medals hanging off your chest by the end of it, right? So that's always good too. But the crossover thing, I think, can be, you know, really important also for people to understand, because, you know, there's a lot of bikini girls, for example, right now on the edge of like, do I do bikini? Do I do wellness? And the question is, try out both then, right? Go get in there, try out both, get in front of the judges. I mean, you guys have such great judges at your events that like you could get in both and maybe you don't do great in both. Maybe you do great in both, but either way, you can stop at the end of the show and say, hey, which one did I look best in? Where do you think I need to head? Because obviously you're not going to be competing in both forever. I mean, you need to find your division and really put your full energy into it eventually. But as a beginner or as somebody who's maybe trying to figure out where they fit best, you know, crossing over gives you the unique opportunity to say, all right, I'm in front of the judges. Now they can tell me, hey, you know what? Actually, it looks like your legs, you're a little bit more lower body dominant. I would say you probably go into wellness more. And this is, you know, just great information for any coaches out there too, compares in general, to get the same feedback from the judges and understand, hey, here's how we tweak things, here's how we can move it and get them on stage. So yeah, crossovers, I mean, especially right now, 2021, with wellness, bikini, all this, there's so many opportunities that need to be, you know, taken advantage of.
Yeah. And one thing you touched on, it's on the same subject of how many shows do I do. There is that, like you touched on, they think, okay, I'm going to get nationally qualified. I'm going to go to a pro qualifier. I'm going to turn pro, and then I'm going to do the Olympia. I'm going to do the Olympia in literally four shows. While there's one or two people that actually happened to, the reality of there's thousands of others that had to work their way up. And you want to have that experience. You want to have realistic expectations. And, you know, some people will purposely, you know, call it a sandbag show. They'll know the show only gets 75 people. They know they're going to get nationally qualified, and then they're going to go to a pro qualifier. What, of course, happens there? You're standing on stage with 20 or 40 other people who all got the overall. You know, you got third in Bikini C because there was nobody else there. And now you're on a pro qualifying stage with all of the overall winners. You're about to be demoralized. You're about to spend a lot of money and probably maybe be demoralized to the point where you like want to take a step back. You know, so take the right steps, get the experience. You know, it's paying your dues, but it's also, if you want to be a pro, nobody's a pro at anything if they've only done it 4 times. Nobody. You know, you cannot be an expert at anything if you've only done it a couple times. So take the time, learn it, get your time on stage. You know, even here's a big thing. You get on, you nationally qualified, you get to a pro qualifier, you're still nervous. You're still nervous. If you've done 10 shows, you're not nervous anymore, most people. You're like, all right, cool, whatever. That first one, your legs are shaking, your body is shaking, you're scared, you can't breathe. And it only takes time, you know, so put in that time, you know, don't expect a shortcut, be realistic. And you're going to build yourself up to be the professional that you deserve to be if you put in that time and education.
Yeah, and I think that's such a great part of, you know, NPC and Ifbb overall, is there's so many layers, so many opportunities, you know, like literally if you want to be a true novice and you are a true novice, you can literally go to a show and do true novice and novice, and maybe that's what you do. And then, you know, eventually you do another show, you do open, and that's what you do there. And it's just got so many ladders and so many levels. Maybe you win your show, you win your whole class, right? But now you want to do another show and win the overall before you go to national. So, I mean, there's just so many layers and so many levels. And not to mention, if you do turn pro, let's not forget that now you're going basically to the bottom of the totem pole again, right? You went from the top, you were at the top, the peak, and it lasted for 1 minute on stage when you got your award. And now you're immediately at the bottom of the pro division, and you got to start doing your work there. Same thing. So
that's such a good point. I've watched some people, you know, I love watching people, you know, move through their career and start at the bottom, work their way up. And I've seen a couple girls, they're accustomed to first place, or guys, accustomed to getting overalls, and then they do their first show and they're 16. And for those of you who don't know, they don't rank you after 16. 16 is just last. And whether there's 40 people in it, you're 16, or if there's 12, well, if there's 16 or more, you're 16. And so you watch them like, holy shit, I've always gotten first, and now what the heck? So again, that's important mentally to be able to prepare for that. And it's not a bad thing to not maybe win the overall. And it's not a bad thing to target, a higher end show, a bigger show. Cool, you won that show, you had 2-3 people in it. Let's see how you stand up to a show where we got 10 people or 15 people standing next to you. So yeah, it's all important steps to truly being a pro. If you're doing it all for the gram, that's a different story. But if you're doing it to be a professional, this is the path, Nicole, I just want to thank you for saying that. I appreciate you guys. And just on a side, we were talking about earlier, we do it all. We stuck out this COVID thing because the last thing I could do is let you guys down. I know how hard you guys work. And I watch Boyana, I watch all the athletes work hard. And we were not going to quit no matter what for you guys. So I appreciate you saying that. And that means a lot. So anyway, I saw that comment and I wanted to say that before the comment disappears.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So where do you think some of these shows are gonna, as far as shows go, are they gonna be in the exact same areas you thinking, or are you guys gonna be moving them around, or pretty much can athletes guarantee no matter what, if they bank on a Center Podium show, it's gonna happen, right? They start a prep, they're ready to go. No matter what, you're gonna find a spot, right?
Yeah, I'll kind of give you what we got for right now. I'll tell you, I'll be super transparent. The Motherlode is definitely going to be in Reno. It is definitely going to be May 15th. We have 2 or 3 venues, and we're waiting on the best scenario. Again, like a casino is regulated by the Nevada Gaming Commission. Convention center is regulated by the state of Nevada. Both have different rules. So we're kind of waiting to see where we're going to get the best set of rules so we can make sure that's an audience for you guys, so that we can make it feel as normal as possible. Now Russia is kind of, maybe not many of you are going to Russia. Russia's pretty well open. There isn't any capacity restrictions, but the borders are closed. So if you haven't seen us post, I don't know how I freaking pulled this off, but I have a special arrangement with the Ministry of Sport with Russia. And we are getting humanitarian visas from the Russian Federation for our athletes and for our coaches. If you're interested in going, go to our Russia page, click the button on the Russia page for instructions as to how we're going to help you get those humanitarian visas. All the information goes to us. We give it directly to the Russian Federation. They process it, issue the visas, and then they talk to the FSB, which is like their FBI, and then they get through Border Patrol. So we're really trying to make this stuff work. We got it pretty wild. So that's Russia. That's Motherlode. The next one is the West Coast Classic. That is June 19th. That's an interesting one because it's a casino, but it's also on an Indian reservation. Right. What we got there is actually quite a few options, but it's looking like that's going to be solid. They have events booked in their showroom starting in April. So we're in June. I really am anticipating it taking place. And what I feel is that the tribe may be a little bit exhausted by the California rules, and they are a sovereign nation, and they can do whatever they want should they choose. So I feel good about that property. But should the tribe not want to do that, there's also many convention spaces in that area. So again, I see it being in Coachella Valley no matter what. I see it being on June 19th. No matter what. And hopefully it'll be in that incredible venue. That's where we had the Frigno Legacy, and that was one of my favorite venues we've ever used. The next one is the Dexter Jackson Classic. That's in Florida. Last year we did it with, I think we were at 50%, and that was July of last year. So this year we're looking at it's definitely going to happen. We have our original venue on hold, the Lazara Theater. They're at 370 right now. But we know we have the option, if we want to go to a ballroom, we could have even more. For us, my shows I try to put in theaters if I can. The difference is, there's a lot of differences, but a big part, it's the production. And imagine you go to a ballroom and they rent you 10 lights for $6,000, right? Where you go into a theater and you have 100 lights, for the same price as renting the venue. And so what you end up with is, much better pictures, much better judging, much better video when it's done in a theater. And in a theater, it's a show. You know, it really like it's a show, and so that's the goal there. You know, after that, then we're getting into, you know, August, and Tahoe is looking like it'll be fine at that point. You've heard rumors about this September thing in Vegas.
Yeah.
Did I? Oh crap! I don't think I said it was Vegas yet. I just gave it up.
The things you only get on the live, right?
Oh, geez, I hope somebody's watching. So that show is, yeah, I think that's probably all I should say about that so far. I just got off the phone with a pretty fantastic venue there. I feel like Vegas has some beautiful, beautiful spots, and we're going to be at one of them. So we're just trying to figure out exactly, again, looking for the right fit for everybody, and so that'll be a good one. And how about, you know, that brings us to October. I mean, we got the Olympia now. They announced the date. How do you feel about that?
Really good. I mean, you know, obviously it's going to be back in Florida now, right? So there's a lot of good opportunity for the for Legion, right?
I didn't. That was not missed on me. I think that worked out well. And actually, I talked to Tamer when they were working on the dates, and they were originally looking at 1 week later. And I'm like, bro, it's a week out from the Legion. Do you think you could push it to 2 weeks out?
I figured you had something to do with that.
The Legion is quickly becoming one of the biggest events in the world. You know, it is well on its way to. It will be the biggest event in the West. You know, we don't know what's going on with Arnold. We don't have a date yet. So that leaves. And I'll talk about New Mexico in a second. I see somebody's asking. So yeah, I mean, we have something like 56 pro divisions, and six of those are open, including open bodybuilding. So our timing is great to be 2 weeks after the Olympia. That's good, so the sponsors can get a rest, and also the athletes can have a rest. And I think we're going to get anybody who didn't get their top 5 or even the bikini is now only top 1 to automatically requalify. We will see them at the Legion, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And the Legion, whoo, what I got planned. I mean, I'm not holding anything back. Like, I'm taking a gamble this year, man. I'm gambling that things are going to be back. I mean, I want to tell you something. I just got a quote on the stage. It's 80 grand, you know? Damn. So yeah, it's no joke what we're putting together. We beating now what is the second or third largest event in the world. We want to look like the second or third or first largest event in the world.
Yeah. And let me just chime in from my experience there. You guys, this place is crazy. I mean, last year a little bit different, but 2019 Legion with no restriction, you know, like how you guys had it, insane, dude. There was people fighting in full suits of armor with swords and shit. I was like, what the hell's going on here? I'm sitting at my booth with my team, and I'm hearing all this clanking. And, you know, it's a whole expo floor. For anybody that doesn't know, there's... expo, you know, so many different sports going on. It's not just bodybuilding, but then I'm hearing this clank and I look back, there's it's like Game of Thrones going on right behind you. It's just absolutely insane, you know, and if he's talking about what he's doing, it's going to be great.
They beat each other silly. It's like, I thought it was going to be like soft swords or something like that. Now they're like, everything is real, and they're and then I saw one dude drop his sword, just start punching the other guy in his face. He got metal gloves, punching the guy's metal helmet in the face. And it's freaking awesome to watch. We got a ton of sports, and you know, one thing, like every sport is as big as the bodybuilding show. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like the little like side thoughts, you know, it's like there are monster sports all across. So no matter what you're doing, you're watching this thing, and it's fun. We time it all so that like if you're NPC, you can catch the pro show, you know, and we just try to set it up so you can really enjoy as much of it as possible. And of course, the hotel is connected to the convention center, so it's all like super easy and convenient. Yeah, it's going to be good. But somebody asked about New Mexico in the comments. and I'm sorry I haven't gotten there yet. Right now it's scheduled for September 25th. And I say right now, and I put a little note on the website, New Mexico is super freaking locked down. I mean, last I checked, there's still like 10. I had a friend who was trying to drive through it. It was his last year. They made him go around the state. It's not a small state. They had to drive around the state. It was the only one we couldn't pull off last year because it was their capacity was 10, and they weren't allowing people from out of state to even go in. So the date may move to November. We may push that one after the Legion, just because they don't know what they're doing over there yet. You know, I got 3 or 4 venues that I talk to all the time, and they're like, we're not even putting stuff in the venues yet. We're not even opening it yet. We're still, you know, we can barely, you know, open the casino floor, that kind of thing. So stand by on that one. Fortunately, we got lots and lots of time. It's going to happen. That's the only one that's kind of up in the air as far as timing and such. And then we go back to Russia again in December. We're doing St. Petersburg, where we have IFBB Pro Classic. It's the first ever IFBB Pro show since the NPC and IFBB split. So it's probably it's actually the first time ever IFBB Pro Classic Physique has been in Russia. So this is a real big deal. Now we have a regional show in St. Petersburg, and then 2 weeks later we go to Moscow, and we do our pro qualifier giveaway. We award 9 pro cards, and that venue is probably our best venue of every show we have. And you know, our venues are pretty decent. This one is like 130 feet of LED panels, like on the stage walls. It's wild. It's gorgeous. That's what we got cooking, man. It's gonna be a busy year.
That's awesome.
Rachel, yeah, you guys have had a wild time down there. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but man, it is strict. But we always find a way, and even if you guys are still at a low capacity, you know, our goal is to get down there and get you guys on stage. I know you've had to wait a long time, and there's only 2 NPC shows in the entire state of New Mexico. Maybe not a lot of people know that, and ours is one of them. So, you know, it's important to get you guys on the stage and just keep you in shape and all that. So you're still at 5? Oh my God. I can't do it with 5. I got 5 judges and a scorekeeper. You know, that's 6 right there. So, we're definitely we're watching it close, and I have a feeling it's going to end up being in November. So, you know, maybe catch us at Vegas and warm up in September, and then we'll come see you. So thanks for the info, Rick.
That's another thing we should touch on real fast, just for anybody still watching. Like, stuff might still change as far as what's allowed as time goes. It's very early in the year right now. Season hasn't even begun. Like, we're barely just going to kick off the season here, you know, over the next few months. And a lot of changes are going to come up still. So, you know, hopefully they're all going in the right direction as far as more things are allowed, more things are opening up. So just because, you know, something might be restricted right now, if you're talking about mid-year, you know, anytime really, like, so much can change. I remember last year when we were doing your guys' events that it was like up until a day out, things were changing, you know, and it was in a positive way. But I mean, as far as that goes, you know, people weren't expecting this and that. Don't let that hold you back from prep. You know, start getting in a prep. There will be a show, there'll be a stage you can get on for sure within, you know, a couple week time span that will work. So don't hold up and wait. Don't wait for, you know, restrictions or anything else to ease, you know, get into it.
Yep. And my goal, like, you know, there's going to be times we have to compromise, but I'm trying to you're going to get the production you expect from Center Podium. You know, it's, you know, when I saw how things were going, you probably saw this, we went and bought a ton of new lights. You know, normally you use the in-house lights and stuff, and I'm watching these shows and I'm like, we can't have that happen at our show. So, like, we can literally put on a show in a parking lot and have fantastic lighting if we had to, you know. Yeah. Hopefully we'll never have to do that. But though Tahoe felt close to that in that tent there. Yeah. That was a pretty memorable show. That came out pretty cool. Just a little cold in the morning.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, man. You got a whole tent and everything for Tahoe, so nothing's holding it back.
Let's see. Are you gonna do a live feed for spectators to watch? All right, I'm gonna drop some knowledge, a little surprise on you about this spectator thing. I am going to be, of course, live streaming all of our shows. We've been live streaming since 2012. So we got pretty good at this before it was cool, and we're taking it to the next level. So what you're going to see me announce soon is an app, and it's going to be, of course, an Android and an Apple app. It's also going to be on Roku and Amazon Fire and all of those places. Yeah, it's the whole. So you've got a couple options. You can watch all our live streams with basically a couple clicks on the app, on Roku, on your Samsung TV, whatever. But also our entire library. It's 108 videos. Today it's 108 videos. It's every show we've put on since 2011. On top of original series and training and posing, all kinds of stuff will be in this app that you can watch from anywhere on earth. It's going to be the best experience you could possibly have if you can't be at the show. Training advice, everything. I want you, Ryan, to do some videos for it. I want you to be on there and give people advice and help people out. It's going to be out in a couple of weeks. I've been working on it quite a bit, and we're going to launch that. And yeah, it's going to be next level what we're going to roll out. So yeah, literally, Mike, just bigger to be. You just said, who needs Netflix? It is set up exactly like Netflix. You can search, I want to watch New Mexico 2019. Boom, there it is. I want to prejudging. You can go through everything, all that. What's up, Elko? I want to see who's that in Elko. Who's that? I don't know, William. I think I met you once or twice. How you doing, man? Sorry we don't have any shows out there. You need about 100,000 more people. The Wendover has a really nice theater at the Pepper Mill. Too bad it's in the middle of the Great Salt Desert. But yeah, man. So that is the live stream thing is going to be next level. The library that we have is next level. Yeah, we're bringing this experience up, and we're going to be creating new content all the time. So it's going to be
good. For anybody that hasn't seen a Center Podium live stream, it may not be like some of the live streams you've seen this past year for some of the bodybuilding events. Like he said, they've been doing this forever. Like it was like he was ready for the pandemic a long 8 years or something before it ever happened, right? Like these live streams, they zoom in. There's all kinds of stuff going on. It's at another level where it's not like I saw some live streams this year. It was literally somebody's iPhone like propped up somewhere. Here's the stage. This is our live stream. Yeah, and then accidentally flipping the camera to you, and and then you flip it back to the stage. No, that's not what these guys got. I mean, you got like a legit setup, a legit camera, everything. It's all right there. They're crisp, they're clean. They don't what's it called? They don't get glitchy. They don't freeze. They don't, it's straight on. You can watch the show. I did that a lot, actually, this past year. I watched a lot of your live streams when I didn't make it out to the event. I was just watching at my house all day. Yep.
And something I'm doing is I'm not just keeping this to myself. I'm actually partnering with other promoters to help them have an awesome live stream as well. So, because to me, it's not just Center Podium, it's about the NPC. It's about the athletes having a great experience no matter where they go. Because even if you don't, compete with Center Podium, if you have a bad time, you may not want to keep doing this. But if you have a great time, no matter where you are, you're going to be invested in our sport and fall in love with our sport. So, yeah, I don't care where you are. I want you to have an awesome time. And I'm going to help these promoters any way I can. We actually already have we're covering the NPC Ohio National. We're covering, looks like the Jay Cutler Classic. We may be doing one in Denver. Okay. So if any promoters are watching and they want an awesome live stream and want to make some extra money on their show, hit me up. We'll get you covered.
That's awesome. All right. Well, anything else we should talk about today, Chris? Anybody got questions or anything? I didn't see any on there.
Questions. Definitely, you and I can talk all friggin' day.
We do it often, so we don't want
to. I'm checking to see if we missed any questions here.
Yeah,
might do Tahoe right on. What's cool is somebody just hit me up from Russia. They just got their visa to do Tahoe. Tahoe's like this.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like this mythical place where people go and compete and get wasted at the bar at the club afterwards, and then do photo shoots. Oh, Netflix!
Oh. That's awesome.
I wonder if I got copyright infringement on that.
Oh, man. I don't know. Maybe it counts. So how often are we going to do these?
What's that? I think we should do them at least every couple of weeks, If not sooner than that. So I would say keep an eye on our pages. We're going to try to do these somewhat consistently, but I hate to commit to that because if it's a powder day, I'm going to be skiing.
Yeah, that's true.
I can do it from the list, just kind of. But the reality of it is it can get crazy in here, especially as we get up to a show. So I don't want to commit to like every week, but I want to do them often because these are great conversations. And I think getting. We've always been, and you're like this with me. Like communicating is so important, especially in these times of COVID, where people kind of make up their own narrative when you're not telling them, hey, what's going on, or sometimes we make a decision we don't have control of, and it's nice to be able to explain, here was our process, rather than just getting angry emails. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So there definitely is an audience in Russia. They're at full capacity in Russia, believe it or not. So the room we have it's around 700 or 800 seats. So yeah, we're going to be there. So yeah, Gina, you're going to help us out with some trophies and stuff, right, this year? Gonna be backstage expediting. Our Tahoe, Reno's got an uncanny number of pros coming up lately, especially figure pros. I think between Boyana and Chalet, they just pump out these figure pros. Cookies, I'm going to be straight about the cookies. I'm more of a donut fan, so there tends to be donuts. Tahoe especially is famous for its donuts. I think we did it in New Mexico. There is a host hotel in Russia. It's called the Hotel Aquarium, and it's this complex. It's called and the gym is also good questions. It's called the Crocus City Mall. The Crocus City Mall is it's the mall, and then there's this like huge expo convention center, and then the hotel is connected to that, and they actually have two theaters. One like 7,000 seat theater that we'll fill that one up in a couple of years. And then that one's called the Crocus City Hall. Ours is called the Vegas City Hall, oddly enough. So you can actually go from the hotel to the venue without going outdoors. However, it's still like a 10 or 15-minute walk. That's how big this complex is. But it is the closest hotel, and you can walk through the mall and get in there. And what's cool too is the metro station's right there, and the metro is super legit. You can get you can like zip down to Red Square and you can get around pretty easy. And there is a discount for room rates on the Russia website, so you can book those right now. Definitely check out our websites. We try to over communicate. Anytime we get a question, we answer it there. So you'll see that on there. We even have, especially for Russia, frequently asked questions section. Everything from like basic culture stuff and getting around and travel. You shouldn't smile like a big dumb American there all the time. Did you know that about Russia? They think it's the creepiest thing ever. We're all like, "Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm from America." And then, what is your problem? What are you trying to get from me?
Man, I would not do well over there.
I know, it's mine too much. It's a little liberating. You just walk around like, yeah, screw you. Yeah, screw you too. Oh, this guy's local.
That's awesome.
There is a gym there too. It's called the Crocus City Gym, also in the complex. So yeah, you got it all. They're not like our official gym. I've reached out to them several times. They just keep ghosting me. So I think once they see us in there, they'll be begging for a partnership next year. But right now, there is a gym on site, but we don't have anything worked out with them. Sometimes it's a little tricky working 8,000 miles away. Sometimes with Russians that don't smile.
Yeah, right on, man. Well, to everybody watching here, make sure you follow us both if you don't already. Tune in to make sure that you know when our next live is coming up. Basically, what we're going to do on here, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, it's just we didn't predetermine this, but we'll keep you updated on Center Podium events, obviously. We'll keep you updated on what's going on with that, and we're going to also give you guys some tips, competitor tips. It's kind of what we're doing here. Like, give you some tips, some information, knowledge, stuff you can utilize that you're only going to get on this live stream. Yeah,
that's what's key. We're coming up with stuff, and that you only see through experience, and sometimes you see it. From the promoter side, you see athletes making the same mistakes over and over again, and so we're going to try to get ahead of that for you, so you don't make those mistakes. Maybe save you a couple shows on your way to that pro card.
Perfect. Right on.
All right, buddy. Well, good to see you. Thank you, everybody who joined us. Mike, thank you. Always our biggest VIP of all the shows right there. We appreciate you. And hey, we'll talk to you guys soon, and we'll see you in Russia or in Reno or somewhere.
Maybe Vegas.
Maybe Vegas.
All right.
Thank you, brother. See you guys.